Abba Benili walks in good ways. He reminds us through our ancestors how all this beauty came to be. Me Umakila. This is not the end of the story.
And I didn't know the beauty of the long history of my ancestors, especially over in Scotland and Ireland, that fought to live freely on the land and on this earth. There was a stone called the Stone of Destiny. And this stone was brought over from Jerusalem to Ireland by the prophet Jeremiah. And he brought it with the female heiress of the Davidic line, meaning she was by blood able to rule on the throne of King David. When I went into the covenant of David, I found out that his throne is forever, and that just because Yeshua of Nazareth came, Jesus of Nazareth, that didn't stop. And the scriptures reveal that when he came, he was giving out the authority to those of his own flesh and blood, of his own family lineage. He was giving them the instructions for how to govern and lead in a time when frauds had infiltrated the government of Judah, and they had cast out the rightful heirs to that responsibility, to the throne of David and the priesthood of Aaron. So when the Roman Catholic Church came along, they hid this knowledge. And every church that has branched off since then has not taught this truth. And simultaneously, you have nations of people and their language and their history that have been preserving that knowledge being attacked to the point where they would no longer remember who they are. And so I asked the question, I'm just one person in this story who didn't know my lineage and didn't know my history. How many other people are of Native descent or are of Scot-Irish descent that belong to what the New Testament says, that you are a chosen people and a royal priesthood? How many other people are chosen to govern and lead? And because of indoctrination and assimilation, they don't know it. That's a big deal. And that matters, because if we're given an assignment by the Most High, by our Messiah, and we're supposed to know who we are, and it was robbed from us because of our language being attacked, and it affected our ancestors to the extent of intergenerational trauma being passed down to where we don't know, that's a big deal. So I ask you not to just take my word for it, but to seek out the scriptures for yourself, and you'll find, along with studying history, that what I am saying is absolutely 100% truth. God bless. Who are my Chickasaw people really? Why was our language attacked? Because we preserved the words of Messiah's teachings that our ancestors heard from his mouth. We have looked at history through a wrong lens. The removal of my people off of their ancestral lands was a bigger deal than people think. We are descended of the priests that left Jerusalem in the first century, and the ones that removed us knew it. Just like history tells us of the people of Judah, once again, they attempted to completely wipe us out, just like in the time of Messiah. His family was attacked, and the government was infiltrated to cast out the rightful rulers of that land that were chosen to lead. We have been indoctrinated to not know the full history of the United States. And our story has not been told. The Scott-Irish are also descendants of King David. They had this knowledge preserved within their Gaelic language, and their language was also attacked. And I shall make you exceedingly fruitful and make nations of you, and sovereigns shall come from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you and their generations, for an everlasting covenant to be Elohim to you and your descendants after you. The leading family of the Chickasaw Nation that I descend from were the leaders. And we were the ones who could draw near to the fire that represented the presence of Creator, just like the Zadok priests that are mentioned in the Word. In the Davidic covenant, King David was promised that he would have a house. Our English translation does not fully explain what this word means. It means a family. King David was being shown his own family being established forever. Yehovah is the word for God in Hebrew that we find within the Bible. It is written that Eli was the high priest at Shiloh. We are all sparks of Abba Benelli. He scatters us out here and there to make light. And when we die, he gathers us up so as to make one big blaze, to show us the house of Abba Benelli. Here we have the Hebrew word Abba, that is in our Chickasaw language, as well as Ben, and the word Eli. Our ancestors of the Chickasaw long ago were given a staff by a holy man and were told to travel west through the wilderness, placing the staff in the ground every night to lead us to the land that was prepared for us to settle upon. We had to leave our old land because we could not stay there. This aligns with the first century exiles of the tribe of Judah who were forced to leave when the Romans destroyed the Second Temple. It is said by a wise man that no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, but on a lampstand so that it can shine to all those in the house. And the word for house in Hebrew means family. There are just too many things that are coincidence. Like the fact that in the Hebrew book of wisdom, it is written that wisdom is a wife. It is also a Hebrew word that is pronounced chokmah or hokmah in modern Hebrew. It just so happens to also be the word hello in our language. Nahshon was the war chief of the tribe of Judah in the wilderness, and his sister was Elisheba, of which all of the priestly family is descended of.